few days ago, I found out that Thailand and Cambodia have been having a conflict for some time. And that shocked me because I thought that this side of the world was like peaceful. And then today I found out that Armenia and Azerbaijan, I don't know, however you say this word, it's a piece of land with humans on it, like all of the earth. Anyway, these two have been fighting for years. And I'm like, has there been any time that we didn't have any wars in the world ever? So I asked ChatGPT about it, and ChatGPT said there has never been a year in recorded human history without any wars or violent conflicts somewhere in the world. Even in relatively peaceful years or decades, some form of armed conflict, civil wars, border skirmishes, no clue what this word is, or international wars have always occurred. That's just the way it is. Humans have always been fighting. And if we just look at it this simply, that it's just humans fighting humans. As I said in the beginning, I couldn't even pronounce that word, the name of that country. Who gives a fuck? It's a piece of land with humans on it. Like every other piece of land with humans on it. What happens is that some humans have more power than others, and they just order those less powerful humans to fight. Like puppeteers and puppets. Relatively more powerful humans are having tantrums and fighting against each other and using less powerful humans as, puppets. That's just how it is. As simple as it gets. I was just watching a comedy special by Josh Johnson, and he was talking about how everyone is just a person. Like, he started by talking about how when he was young and he went with his mom to buy groceries and he saw his childhood teacher and he was like, yo, why aren't you at school? And then he realized that she's just a person, who buys groceries and has a life, apparently. And he started progressing and talked about how, Trump is just a person. Everyone. Hitler is just a person. Netanyahu is just a person. Apparently, Alexander the Great had daddy issues. Everyone is just a human being with some traumas that are affecting how they behave in life, how they operate in life. So, give a traumatized person some power, and this is what you get. Wars. Every freaking year. When I started to become a hypnotherapist and a coach, the main thing that encouraged me is that I wanted to make an impact somehow, even if it's just a tiny impact, even if it's just, I'm getting emotional. Just making someone feel better, Making someone let go of anger, of sadness, of abandonment issues, of whatever. And I've seen people operating better in their lives after these sessions. And there are tons of therapists out there who do the same thing. There are tons of hypnotherapists out there who do the same thing. But you know what? There are tons of bad therapists out there as well. But that's not the main point that I wanted to talk about. The main point is these ministers, presidents, kings, I think they've never been to therapy. I would love for someone to tell me that I'm wrong and to tell me that, hey, this person in power has been to therapy. My question would be, well, are they good people? Are they taking the responsibility well? Or are they being destructive? How was their therapy? But Trump, Netanyahu, everyone in power needs some therapy. Every human being needs some therapy because that's just how we are, as children. Our mind is kind of blank, I would say, like a blank canvas. Maybe the Buddhist would say that you're bringing everything with you from, your past life and so on. I'm gonna operate from this life, and what we know is, or what I've seen also from sessions is, because you can read the research and everything, but personally, I love observing data. And what I've seen is that people in their 30s, people in their 50s, their 60s would come and they would be having problems like this anger, or I can't find love, or I have an anxiety when it comes to maybe presentation, or I've been losing money, or I've been whatever. They would come and tell me that this thing is bugging them in their life. And again, they're all just daily life things. And when we work under hypnosis and see what's up, we find out that they are operating as adults from the decisions that they made when they were babies. Sometimes when they were 10 or 5 or 15 or whatever, just early in their lives. They've made a decision back then, and it all has to do with mom didn't love me enough. Dad didn't give me attention. My sister has been bullying me. My brother has been bugging me, whatever. It all starts there. And they make these decisions back then. So I'm going to give you an example. A client of mine who was in his 50s came to me because he was just starting his business and he just made his website and all of that. And something has been stopping him from taking further steps. So he felt stuck. So we found out that he had self-esteem issues, even though the person was in his 50s, had wife and kids, and he had another job, and he had a car, and life was sorted. But when it came to moving forward in his business, we found out that he had self-esteem issues that came from when he was a kid, and his mom would favor his siblings more than him. She would pamper them more than she would pamper him. So he felt that he's just unworthy of any love, anything in general. Because he was a kid. He was less than 10 years old. And when we're less than 10 years old, our parents are our world. And we see the world through their lens. So if my mom isn't loving me and loving my siblings more, there must be something wrong with me. They're the authority. We're idealizing them. So I'm the problem. So he grew up with that belief. In his teenage years, he didn't pursue the girl because he in his mind, I'm unworthy. He didn't pursue a good college because he felt that he was unworthy. He didn't even study well because whatever, I'm gonna fail anyway because I'm unworthy. That's how he operated. It's not like he would and people might listen to this and be like, no, I don't have that belief. Yeah, that's what he said. And that was not a joke from The Office, but that's what we all say. We don't know what's going on in our mind. Only when you really relax and let your subconscious talk, it's gonna tell you everything, and that's what happens under hypnosis. I'm not gonna people think that under hypnosis, a hypnotist controls you or whatever. Pfft, dude, I wish that I had this type of power. I wouldn't be getting emotional about these words. I would find that those anyway bad word and tell them to stop these goddamn wars. Nobody can control anybody's mind. So what happens is, yeah, I sounded like a dictator, but I'm not. I swear I'm not. I just don't want any wars, for fuck's sake. People are freaking dying. Anyway, what happens under hypnosis is that your mind is very relaxed and your critical factor isn't really present. Your subconscious and your unconscious is more present. So our mind has 3 layers: the conscious, the subconscious, and the unconscious. The subconscious has the memories. The unconscious has your fears and beliefs and the things that operate you. So under hypnosis, all of these things come out. The hypnotist just asks you questions, open-ended questions, not yes and no questions. If you go to therapy and your therapist is asking you yes and no questions, it can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing. If that's their default, it's not great. But sometimes a good therapist is trying to really understand you, help you, put the words out there. So they might ask you yes and no questions, but before that they will tell you feel free to say that I'm wrong, So under hypnosis, that's it. You just operate from that, So what happened with the client is that we found out that he had these self-esteem issues, and after the session he was like, I didn't know that I had that, and now everything makes sense. Days after, he started to connect the dots. Yeah, okay, it makes sense that I didn't go after this, or I gave up there, or whatever here. Everything now makes sense. And he started to excel in his life and have more compassion for himself. And then he started to see other people like him. When you have more compassion for yourself, you start to see everyone like you, because we all have the same issues. We're all freaking humans on this land, right? All of these politicians are the same. Imagine if this client didn't have this session, didn't understand that he had self-esteem issues, and he just understood that he had been stuck. Okay? He just knew that he's starting his business and he's feeling stuck in going on and moving forward with his business. And let's say he wins the lottery or whatever, he gets tons of money, and he remembers that he had this friend. He checks up with the friend and he finds out that that friend is powerful in some position in this city or state or wherever he lived, right? So now he has two forms of power. He has tons of money from the lottery, and he has this powerful friend. And he has also anger because his business isn't excelling. So what would he do? Maybe he would use that friend to like push his business forward, and his business succeeds, right? For some reason, his business succeeds. Yeah, everything is working for him. Yay. And he also has this money that he won from the lottery, so he would probably spend it and like, because he has low self-esteem issues that he doesn't know of. Now this is a different scenario, right? This is a parallel scenario that he doesn't come to the session and he doesn't know that he has that. But subconsciously, that's what he is operating from, right? So he buys a better car and brands of clothing and all of that stuff, try to fill his life with these materialistic things. Now, when you have all of this power and you know that your subconscious knows that you're nothing really, but you just want to validate that, yeah, I'm good, I'm awesome, blah, blah. You're not going to be looking for a meaningful conversation with your wife. You're not going to look for a meaningful time well spent with your kids, whether you're a man or a woman. I was just using this example, you know. But what you're going to look for is maybe paying these people to come and tell me I'm awesome. And now that you have all of this power, let's say someone disagrees with you. Your mind is, who the fuck are you? Look at my business. Look at my car. Look at my kids going to this expensive school. Look at my wife wearing Chanel and all of that stuff. Who the fuck are you to disagree with me? So they have power. What they're going to do? They're going to use the power to demolish that person. If you're healed, if you have self-esteem, if you feel that you're worthy, you're not gonna try anything to kind of prove that you're worthy or not. You just are. I'll tell you an example. I have a friend who's also a hypnotherapist. From where I studied, there were like tons of other hypnotherapists, right? So these other tons of hypnotherapists are trying to charge their clients hundreds of dollars and sometimes thousands of dollars. And my friend, he's like, I'm just gonna charge how a normal therapist would charge. These other guys are telling him like, why? You're worth it. You're worth it. You deserve it. And he's like, yeah, I know. Do you see what I'm saying? So they're operating from, they have to prove it to themselves that they are worth it, because unconsciously they don't feel worth it. They have to look for something external to prove it to themselves. And that something external is how much they charge. My friend is like, yeah, I know that I'm worth it. And I know I have good knowledge and I know that I'm good, but it doesn't mean that I charge tons of money. Like, what does this have to do with that? You know what I mean? It's exactly that. When you operate from I'm worth it, I'm good, you just are. You just are a good person. You're not going to look for anything external. But these politicians who are supporting war, they're loving this power that they have over regular human beings, like them, by the way, but to their mind, they're like, oh, I'm big, and these are like my slaves, not my soldiers. Like that's how personally I see military and all of that shit. It's human trafficking, you know, it's someone, it's like, you go from here, there, kill these humans. Why? We're all freaking humans. Who has the right to kill anybody or to like, oh, I feel like I'm having an existential crisis. But this is why I don't watch the news, But for some reason these days, I started to catch up with what's happening in Gaza, and then I found out all of that stuff, and now I'm having this existential crisis. Like, this is why I need to go back to not watch the news and live in my rainbow delusion, you know? Anyway, back to what I'm saying. These politicians who support war, they most likely have self-esteem issues that they haven't solved. Self-esteem issues that maybe come from their childhood, most likely come from their childhood. And climbing the political ladder was their external validation that they're worth it. Listen to me, look at me. All of these people are voting for me or supporting me, or all of these people in the office are listening to me. I can snap my fingers and war can happen. That is how they're telling themselves they're worth it. Kinda sad. And it sucks. But I know that I seem that I'm oversimplifying it, but it's because it is. We don't need to complicate it. We're all freaking humans on a piece of land, on a planet, in this freaking ass huge galaxy, in this freaking ass huge cosmos. It's just how simple this is. B, humans operate from beliefs that they formed when they were kids, when their minds could comprehend what they can comprehend. You know what I mean? Like, you never know facts. You just know what you perceive. And that's how all of these politicians are operating. From their daddy issues and their mommy issues because they didn't go to therapy. On a smaller scale, if you're responsible for a family, if you're responsible for employees, if you're responsible for yourself, go to therapy. Do yourself a favor, do the world a favor, and go to therapy. This was a hypnotherapist having a meltdown. I might name the video this way. We'll see. But for now, I have to go back to my delusional rainbow land and just not watch the news anymore. Just focus on my practice and help however I can help. A small impact is an impact.